Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Kris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast. And this is episode number 76, where we talk about personal development and business all in one podcast. If that sounds like something that's interesting to you, we drop a new episode every single Monday of the week. So if that sounds like something that's interesting, please tune in, please subscribe. We don't charge for the podcast. So what we do ask is that you share it with one new person at least. That's all we ask, to share it with one new person that may need to hear this information or that may benefit for this information. With that being said, we have another guest on the podcast, another young entrepreneur. I'm pretty excited to have her share her perspective on business and allow her to drop some game and some gems for you guys. A little bit about my guest: she is the owner of Mogul Marketing, a social media marketing agency. She provides a variety of services. She helps businesses generate leads on autopilot, and she's also a world traveler. Welcome, Kris Holt. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Thanks
I
so much
just
for having me.
Absolutely. I was gonna say I see you're back from Mexico. I'm assuming you're back from
Yeah.
Mexico, but when I called you, you were in Mexico. How was that?
Great. I mean, that's one of my favorite places. So,
Dope.
just it's just I literally want to move there. So,
Oh, okay, that's dope. That's dope. I know I called you. You're like, I'm on vacation, but I'm still working. So you still getting to it. That's what's up. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, usually on this podcast, the way we like to start it is just to start in your background and start, really with your childhood and you growing up into becoming the woman that you are today.
Yeah, so upbringing, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the oldest on one side and the only child on the other side. So I have, a stepmom, a stepdad, real mom and
Mm-hmm.
real dad. So I'm the oldest on like one side and the only child on the other. And so growing up, I had a pretty good childhood. I played all types of sports, just
Mm-hmm.
basketball, just softball, volleyball, track,
Mm-hmm.
and tennis, and volleyball was the thing that like stuck. And from there, I got a full ride to play volleyball in college. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that sports really helped me just in business, and always being the like team captain and like the like go to. So I definitely have that bossy type of element from
Yeah.
sports. And then growing up, one of the things that I did struggle with is that I have a natural speech impediment. So
Mm-hmm.
my brain moves like 5 to 6 times faster than everyone else. So as I'm speaking, my mouth is trying to catch up to my first
Mm-hmm.
thought, and so that's where the stutter comes from. So of course from that came just a lot of bullying and a lot of teasing and being like misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been just very bright and intelligent. It was just a hard time for me to learn how to articulate myself. And so in that, sports was the thing that kind of gave me my voice. Just
Mm-hmm.
I like was always like in the news and like on my school, gym. There's like a giant there's a giant poster because I broke like a 20 year
Wow.
record. I've gotten every accolade that you could possibly get just in high school sports. So I think that was kind of what gave me my like confidence, and then I think that those
Mm.
things has translated into business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talk about sports a lot of time. I grew up playing sports, and I know a lot of what I learned and what I went through in sports was really like relatable and transferable to life and business as well. You mentioned being the captain of your team. That was preparing you ahead of time to own your own company and be your own boss, and become a leader, right?
Right.
I did have a question. Did you have any entrepreneurs in your family? Did that run in your family?
Um, no, I definitely had some people around me who tried. All of my parents are pretty much corporate,
Mm.
but um, particularly my my real mom and like my like stepdad, he was like a top 10% earner within the like
Mm.
US. So our family,
Wow.
I mean, he was just a beast just at
Yeah.
business, but not owning his own business.
Got you.
But
Got you.
yeah.
So after college, or maybe in college, did you ever have a job, or were you always like hustling and having side gigs? Like what was it in college? What did you have,
Yeah,
or after
so
college?
yeah. So after college, well, I actually dropped out my third year,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's just college was not for me. I mean, it was trying to just force something down my throat that I just didn't want.
Got you. Yeah.
Um, and like and like volleyball was the only reason why I went, because my like school was paid for. So I had no interest in being there just outside of playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was, I think it was my junior year. I was really close to my academic advisor,
Mm-hmm.
and she was telling me that there's this billionaire who owns a mansion
Mm.
and a five-star hotel all in like one property, and he takes college kids and teaches them entrepreneurship for a week. So
Mm.
I was like, all right, cool, like sign me up. And like once I went there, like that was the thing that was like, this is what I'm supposed to like do. So that
Mm.
one experience before I was about to drop out, that is
Mm-hmm.
what gave me like everything that I needed to start my own business.
And
Um,
and how old were you when you went on that trip?
my junior year of college, so I would
Got you.
say I think 2019 or 20.
Got you.
Yeah,
No, I was gonna say that's amazing because exposure is everything when it comes to
absolutely.
business and entrepreneurship. And if you're not exposed to the right people, to the right things,
Oh yeah,
sometimes you may never know what your potentials are, what like you can
absolutely.
possibly have in your life. So you being exposed to a billionaire for a whole week, I could only
Right.
imagine some of the things that you learned. Your mind was probably just like in awe of what you were saying.
Exactly.
So that's pretty awesome. What was one of the things that you picked up in that week from being around that entrepreneur?
One of the key phrases that he always says was exposure expends expectations. So
There
unless
you go.
you're, so yeah, so unless you have something in front of you that you're exposed to, you will never expand
Hmm.
the expand the expectations that you have
Hmm.
for your life. And I mean, like for me, like I mean, that's just my like go-to phrase.
Yeah, yeah. Even with traveling the world, I mean, going to different places, creating that exposure for
Oh yeah.
yourself. I always tell people I learned a lot more from traveling than sitting in a classroom.
Oh yeah.
Actually, going to these places, touching these places, and learning, and even interacting with other people, you just learn so much more about traveling. I always, if you've talked to me, you know how much I push. You just need to pick up your bag and just go
Yep.
somewhere. Get out of your circle of influence. Do something different and new, and you'll be amazing what you can learn. Yeah, for sure. So you dropped out your third year. Did you have a plan? What was your objective for doing that?
I didn't have a plan. All like I am. So I am a Taurus, and I think that one of my traits is like stubbornness. And so
Mm-hmm.
once my mind is made up that I'm not going to do something, then that's just what it is. Like so
Mm-hmm.
so my plan was like to go home and tell my parents like, hey, like I don't want to be there. I've already dropped out.
Mm,
There's nothing that you can do to reverse that, and I'm going to work on my first business. And so that's
mm,
what, like that's what I did, and that's just the amount of boldness that I have. Like
mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of my parents. I'm not afraid of like failure. I'm not afraid of
Mm,
mistakes. Like if it's not
mm,
working for me, they're like I will I will drop everything, and
mm,
I think that I think that just like people are too scared. And then
mm,
when you think what's on the other side of not going for what you want, it's like there's like nothing there. Like you have not
right.
like everything is just it's just in your head.
Yeah. I have conversations with people, and when they feel like they're afraid to make that jump, I'm like, are you gonna die? Like,
Right.
you
Like
know what I'm
what's the
saying? Like,
worst
what,
thing
what,
that
what
could
is the
happen?
worst thing? Now,
Right.
granted, I know a lot of people have different situations where maybe they got kids, maybe they got a
Yeah,
family and whatnot, but
definitely.
I feel like there's always a level of risk that you can take, right?
Yeah.
You take that one risk, and then you understand, okay, I'm all right. I didn't die.
Exactly.
Let's take another one. Let's take a bigger one. So I do believe taking risk. Um, so that's pretty dope. At a young age, you realize that. So when you were talking to your parents, were they supportive eventually, or how did that go? How did that turn
Um,
out?
it definitely did not go well.
Okay.
Like they're always supportive in the sense of like, okay, you will never be
Mm,
homeless. You'll always have a place to stay
gotcha.
here. They didn't like kick me out. But they definitely were riding my coat, like just riding me, like just on like trying to get a job and go corporate and go back to school. And I did start one business and it did fail. And so, that was their ammo to kind of put that in,
mm,
to kind of put that in my face until I gave in. But I still uh, just was like, F, F what
yeah,
everyone has to say.
you're
Like,
gonna figure it out.
yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
So what was the first business that you started?
I started a marketplace.
Mm,
I wanted like to mimic the Amazon model of having Black and brown businesses
mm,
sell their products and do the fulfillment out of my garage.
wow.
So yeah, so that is what I wanted to do.
That's really interesting. And you were doing it by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, it's like definitely a visionary, to be able to envision that at a young age. So what was the next thing for you? What was after that failed? Your
Yeah.
parents were maybe throwing it in your face a little
Oh
bit. What
yeah.
was the next? What was the next thing for you?
The next thing was they were like, all right, so you have to get a job.
Mm,
So my first and my only real job was working as a manager in sales at a hotel.
mm,
So I did all of the of event sales and event coordination for like hotels. So if someone would have a wedding, a bar mitzvah, a corporate meeting, I was the one who put all of that together for the for the hotel.
mm-hmm,
I like was the only Black and the only like woman that was in management, and
mm-hmm,
it was definitely a learning experience. And like what came from that is I was already working like 72 hours a week, and
wow.
then what happened towards the end was like they were asking me if I can manage their Instagram and their Facebook. And I was like, all right, sure. And so I was like playing around with it. And then it kind of like clicked in my mind, like, wait, like folks actually need this. Like people will actually pay for me to like do this. And this was like when like the term being a social media manager was like not even a thing yet.
Right.
And so this was kind of like first, like back when like Instagram like had that brown icon, and you know Facebook. And so like that was like a light bulb, and I was like, dang, like I can actually do a business, do doing this. So as soon as that job ended, I went, and that was the thing that like stuck, and I've been doing that I think for the past 4 years now.
Wow,
5 years.
that's amazing. It's crazy, like you said, 4 years ago, the term social media manager, that people would be like, "What are you talking about? I
Like,
don't need
what
my
is that?
social." Yeah, I don't need it managed. But now
Right.
it's definitely a thing that people need.
Yeah.
I'm fully familiar with it because I'm actually in the marketing space as well, and yeah, I know all about digital marketing and whatnot. So now you jump into digital marketing. Um, what so in the beginning, walk me through the beginning. Like, I'm
Mhm.
sure like there was a lot that you had to learn. Did you have people teaching you? What was the thing that you were offering people initially?
Yeah, so I was just I was doing it for like friends and family who had their own businesses. I like was doing it on the low. And I purchased like every course that I could possibly get.
Mm,
Like I probably did like maybe like 5 or 6 courses. And
mm-hmm.
then after that, I kind of deemed myself as like certified to like
Yeah.
do it. And so then after that, like things just started to like constantly progress through a word of mouth. And then once that started to kind of pick up, that's when I started to brand myself on Instagram. I had to start all over on a new account, and I think I had maybe like 500 follow followers, and then I've grown to like 30 something K like now. But through me doing that on like Instagram, I haven't really pushed my business much. Like this year has probably, no, last year has probably been the first year that I've ever ran ads to get more customers. But everyone just comes to my page, and then based off of my content, like that's when they reach out, and like they ask for me to like do theirs.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, since we're here, let's dive into your entrepreneurship journey. What are some of the services that you offer at your company?
Yeah, so the main one right now is that I get leads on autopilot to service-based businesses. So if you're a like spa, a credit company, a uh, you do like grant writing, a hair service. I have someone who's in healthcare now. So anyone who offers a service, I have tools in place to help them get leads through running both Instagram and Facebook ads. And then, of course, I still manage the Instagram, the Facebook, and the link and LinkedIn. And then we also, because content is such a big piece, we also do photography and videography as well. So for clients who want to build their like personal brand, that is what we really work on, and that's what I recommend for anyone, is to build your personal brand. And the reason being is like your personality and your likability is like, when it comes to the business aspect, the the so people will gravitate to you and they'll buy from you before they
Mm-hmm.
just go and get your
Yeah.
service. And so you can have a personal brand and throughout a period of like 10 years have gone through five different businesses, and
Very
then
true.
then the last one sticks. Well those folks are just riding with you
Mm-hmm.
throughout that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
If Steve Harvey were to come out with a credit repair business, he would just kill it. And
Mm-hmm.
like without knowing a lick about doing credit, but it's his personality that like people
Mm-hmm.
love so much that like that allows him to um to uh like be fluidly
Mm-hmm.
successful at everything because
Right.
of his personality, and then just dragging those businesses along with him.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have a personal brand and you built it up with a strong foundation, you've earned that trust with people, and people
Absolutely.
are they're more willing to support you at whatever you do, especially when
Absolutely.
you're transparent. You may come out and say, "Hey, the credit repair business did not work, but we're working on something else," and you have those people that are willing to support you, kind of like your family and friends. Or hopefully, your family and friends
Right.
support you like that. So
Absolutely.
you do a lot. You do a lot. I'm curious. Do you have a team that helps you out?
Yeah, so
Okay,
I have a very small team.
got you.
But my right hand one woman is my assistant, and
Mm-hmm.
her name is Hannah. She's been with me for I think for over 2 years now. And so
Wow.
she's like, I am a creative mess. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you know how like when you log on, you have like third like thir 30 tabs that are open, that are open. That is like mine. That's how my mind is. I'm like, and
Mm-hmm.
like, but the thing is, I know exactly where everything is, and
Mm-hmm.
like I know how to I know how to pick up like where I left off. But she's the
Mm-hmm.
one who's very stable, like just like stable and task oriented, and who really keeps me in like check, just because
Yeah.
I'm just all over the place.
That's funny because first of all, it's I think in business it's very essential to know, even in life, to know your personality type and to know who
Right.
you are as a person. And in business, it's very important to have the people on your team that balance you and that are strong where you're weak. Um,
Absolutely.
I've came across this a lot, and even it sounds like my marriage, my wife and she uses my iPad and she has like all these tabs open up for what she's doing, and I take it, I look at it, I'm like, I give it right back to her. I'm like, let me know when you're fully done with this thing, because I'm very like task oriented.
Yeah.
I need just like focus on one or two things.
That
Uh,
is that like a man thing? Because that's how my fiance is too. Like he can't do
I
two
don't.
things. And I'm just like, what is wrong
No,
with you?
and the thing about me, I'm not afraid to tell people that I can't multitask. Like, let me just do this thing
That
and leave
is
me
so
alone.
funny.
Yeah, but it's funny because just like you were saying, it's very important to have your assistant that is strong where you're weak, and
Right.
you're strong where she's weak.
Right.
So I think that's super dope that you realize that. That's very important for people to realize. Like I said, not only in business and entrepreneurship, but in life. For the person that you find, you want to find someone that can balance you.
Yeah.
I could only imagine, if your assistant was just like you guys would probably be driving
Right.
each other crazy, you know.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's dope. Cool. So I'm curious to know. I know marketing and social media is changing all the time
Oh
rapidly.
yeah.
It's probably changing from day to day. But what are some major changes that you've seen from last year to this year when it comes to marketing and growing your personal brand online?
So some things that I've seen. Well, for one, I know that the Facebook ads, they're about to change because of this
Yeah.
thing with Apple. So because of that, I know that I want to dive more into the Google ads, and that is because a lot of online marketers, they tend to focus on both Instagram and Facebook. So I think that me being able to do Google ads will just be another tool in the arsenal. And then in terms of building your personal brand, it really sucks that things have to be this way, but it's like flexing is what makes money. Like,
Very
people
true.
like to see you traveling. People like to see you in like your Lamborghini, or in your leased Lamborghini, or in your rental.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a tribe for everyone. But I think that there are certain rules that you just have to like stick to. And I always say, like, Instagram and Facebook, they don't care what your personal preferences are. So they don't care that you don't like to be on camera. They don't care that you don't like to post every day. Like, this is just what you have to do. And then when you do that, that's when the algorithms work in your favor. So I think that things are like just with reels, you just have to stay fluid with the trends, just like as they come. And you kind of don't get to dictate what you want to do. You just kind of have to do it if this is the way that you want to make money.
Right. And no, I totally agree. I talked to some people, and you know, they want to grow their social media account. They want to grow their presence and their business online. And I tell them the same thing. I'm like, look, there's a reason why Instagram made Instagram Reels, which is the copycat of TikTok.
Right.
Because they made it because they don't want you on TikTok. They want you on their platform.
Exactly.
So if they're going to make something, and they want you to utilize this tool, and right now, in my opinion, it's one of the quicker ways to grow is using like Instagram Reels, using IGTV, using those new features that they offer to grow your account because they want to keep you on the platform.
Yeah.
They don't want you to go to TikTok and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, in your opinion, dealing with your clients and maybe some of your leads, what is the most common marketing issues that you come across with these businesses? Like, what's the most common thing that these people are dealing with?
For one, not having enough. Well, for one, not having enough testimonials. So just social proof is everything.
Yeah,
like,
I like that.
Like, folks need to see that you have people who are speaking on like your company's behalf, and you always have to lead with that. So on like like on your sales page, or on your like landing page, you need testimonials, and I would say at least 5 to 10. So not having enough of those, not having enough video content, just in terms of like IGTVs. If you are building a personal brand, then you have to be personable, and you have to be seen on camera. And doing just at least one live or one IGTV. There's this guy. His name is Darius Cooks, and he makes probably like because I've heard him in Clubhouse, at least 20 grand per live, just talking and like interacting with his audience, and selling cookbooks, and just taking the time to actually like show up. So kind of carving out that time to do your video content.
Wow.
Also clarity of pictures. Like, I don't know why this is still a thing. I'm sorry for Android people, but give it up. Here is the basket. Turn in your phone, okay? Because your quality sucks. Okay.
Talk about it. Yeah,
And
talk about it. If not,
and
if you want to keep your Android, at least get a camera or something
at
like that.
least
You know.
get a extra, right. Just have two phones. But what
Or that,
y'all are
yeah.
doing, it ain't cutting it. And so I always say make content based off of who you want to reach. So if you are
I
going
like that.
for corporate and professional clients, then your Instagram needs to have a corporate and professional look. So what does that mean? That means that you need to go to like peer space and get 4 to 5 business like outfits and have a like photo shoot and give
Yep, I
off
love that.
that professional look. Me, on the other hand, I don't give a crap, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I talk to other entrepreneurs, and like that's who I work with. Like, I know billionaires who like step out of who step out of a Ferrari with like flip flops on and a tank top. You know,
Yeah.
so for me, I just, just live my life through like Instagram, just showing up to the audience that are most likely to buy from me, and being that they are in that in the entrepreneurial realm, like they don't mind seeing me like in a bikini on
Yeah.
uh like on the beach, because they can all relate to like that lifestyle. So I have a very lifestyle type of feed, because
Yeah.
that's the type of folks who I want to attract.
Yeah, I love that. And then going back to what you were saying about people making money on Clubhouse, I was actually listening in when Joe Rogan was in there. I think he's only been on there like one time, but he was in there with the creator of Clubhouse,
Oh,
and
wow.
they were all bouncing off ideas and like trying to figure out how people are going to monetize. And the creator said, and I don't know if you've heard of this, but the creator of Clubhouse, he said that pretty soon they're going to integrate something where they're going to allow the people to monetize on there. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to have it set up where you have to pay to get into these rooms, like you're paying to
Oh,
get into
wow.
an event. So I was like, wow, that is really cool, because if you're growing your following on there and your presence on there,
Right.
eventually, hopefully, sooner than later, they'll have it to where you can talk about a specific topic, or
Right.
you can have like a bunch of people, host an event, and
Right.
people will pay to get into those rooms. $5 or whatever, two
Yeah.
bucks, whatever the case is. So I think that's pretty cool that
So,
they might be
will
integrating.
that be forced, or like for every room, or just for like you have that choice to turn it on and turn it off?
You know what? I think it's gonna be. He didn't say exactly what it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be similar to like a TikTok, where you reach a number of followers and then you have that option to do that. Because I think that's an ability on TikTok where I think if you reach 1,000 followers, then you can go live and you can accept like donations or something like that. I'm not too familiar,
Gotcha.
but I know on certain platforms, if you reach a number of followers, then you have access to
Right.
more features, like the swipe up feature on Instagram. So
Right.
I think it's going to be something like that. But I think that's just, another way people are making money and monetizing on there. And some other lady was saying that a company pays her to go on Clubhouse to speak about their product.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
No,
man, people are getting creative.
I've actually finessed a transaction like that. I have a client who writes grants, right? And
Mm,
so there's this influencer named CEO Maddie J, and
Mm.
like we paid him for an hour along with the Hustlers Club and along with the Ream team to do a joint live, right?
Mm.
From that, we got
On Instagram?
on Clubhouse.
Got you.
From that, we got over 500 booked appointments. So
Wow.
her team was like backed up for like 2 weeks. Because Matty J, he has like 120K on Clubhouse.
Wow.
And yeah, he's crazy. And then the Hustlers Club, I think they have 50K, and then Ream Team, I think he has like 20K. But just having them as like moderators and paying them to do that collaboration, that probably has generated like probably close to like six figures.
So were they on there talking about the business, or were they like, was it just sponsored by the company? How did that work?
Yeah, so they were talking about her business and the grants that are available
Got you. That's dope.
minorities.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to transition a little bit into how you help businesses generate leads. And for the people that maybe, this is probably a two-part question for, let's just start there. How do you help people generate leads? I know you mentioned before that you kind of have like a system in play. Let's just say a service-based company comes to you. What are the steps that you take to help them out to generate leads?
Yeah. So, all right. So for one, I'm very like anti web site.
Mm.
I believe that you should have both a website and a funnel, and
Mm.
the reason why is that the average attention span is like 6 seconds. So if you give someone your like website, they are clicking around and left to their own devices to like go to the about page, the shop page, the
Mm-hmm.
services page, the like contact page, and so you and like so like in there you like may have lost it.
Mm.
Whereas when you have a funnel, it's a very guided and
Yeah, very
um
true.
like a very direct a approach on the action that you're wanting the like end user to take. So it's like step number one would be to build out their funnel, and then step number two would be to put automation and sequences in in place. So I have a software that like talks to Facebook, and basically every time someone opts in, it collects their name, their
Mm.
phone number, and like their email. And like so like through that we are collecting contacts to like put them into email market no into text marketing
Mm.
campaigns. The like the like the open rate for like text messaging is like I think 95 per a
Yeah.
set. And so
Yep. Wow.
folks are starting to move away from like email and are wanting text or and like are wanting text messages. So we collect that. And then after that we are running ads from Instagram and from Facebook to
Mm.
to 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 promote your service.
Wow. She just broke it down for y'all. Now you know why that you're getting these random text messages from people. But
Right.
man, that's crazy. That's amazing. Um, for some of the people that and I don't know where your services are priced at, but for the people that maybe can't afford your services, what recommendations would you give to these people
Yeah.
that can't break out of that limit of just selling to their friends and family?
Right. Yeah.
Because I come across that a lot where they're like, man, like people are supporting me, my friends and family are supporting me, but I'm trying to get customers and clients,
Right.
people that I don't know that, that are not my friends and family. I'm trying to break out of that first layer. What are some recommendations that you would give to people out there?
Right. The name of my software is Conveyor Lead.
Mm.
If they go to conveyorlead.com, that will give them and that's only that's $67 per month, and that gives them all of the tools to build their funnel, to implement the text and email marketing, and to also start with the Facebook and the Instagram ads,
Mm.
because along with the software comes a course that
Mm.
teaches you how to do it for yourself, just step by step.
So is that a software you develop, or is it you outsource that?
So it's a software that's already out there, but
Mm. Gotcha.
I've white labeled it and had developed some of it on like the back end to to
Got you.
to customize it to. I mean, like I'm very big on like software. Like I
Yeah.
love software.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. Yeah. Just to start to wrap this thing up, I know you're super busy. Didn't want to take up too much of your time today. I did. I was scrolling on your Instagram account and I seen that you mentioned praying, manifesting, and asking for what you want in life. You
Mhm.
mentioned that like multiple times. I'm curious, how important is that to you? How has it impacted your life? Because I know for me, manifesting, praying, like, that's something that I practice every single day.
Yeah.
One of the things I do, and I have it right here. I learned this from one of my boys. He's like, you need to be writing out your goals. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do that. I write out my goals. He's like, no, write out your goals every single day. Like every single day. So something that I've been doing is literally there's 6 things that I want.
Mhm.
And obviously I have other goals and whatnot, but there's like 6 of them. And he's like, write them out every single day on a sticky note. Stick it on your desk so you see it every single day. Some people, they just write it at the beginning of the year, but I was like, man, I found that so powerful to write
Yeah.
out exactly what you want every single day. And in addition, the what I put at the top, I put crazy faith. So it's going to involve crazy faith to get these things, and not just by me just writing it down. It's not going to happen, but by action and having that
Right.
crazy faith, I'll get there.
Right.
So I say that, like, what are some of the, how important is it to you, and like, what are some of the things that you would recommend to people out there to manifest what they want?
Yeah, and look, I'm so glad that you asked me that, because manifestation is like, it's just a gift from God, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of so in a very short-winded way, you are familiar with the reticular activating system, right?
I'm not.
Okay, so RAS, or like the reticular activating system is the not not the acronym,
Mm-hmm.
but what's the thing with like the like letters that like mean some that
Um,
mean
I
something.
know what you're talking about. I can't think of it
Yeah,
right now. I know what you're talking
it's
about.
just one of those things. But like basically God has basically put something in our brain that once you train yourself to see something, that those things come to you. So have you ever been looking for a car, and then everywhere you look, like that car is
Mm-hmm.
always there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the more you see something and the more you think about something, God is God has placed something in, like, in your existence to actually track that.
Mm-hmm.
And like Albert Einstein, in his theory of relativity, he says that like your brain works as a radio to like frequency. So
Mm-hmm.
the more the like the more you see it, and the more you speak it, and the more you think it, it has no choice um but to come to you. And
Mm-hmm.
for those of you out
Wow.
there, the most important thing for you to do is to protect and guard your energy with your life. Because
Mm.
when you wake up
I love that.
and you stub your toe, and you say to, like, today is going to be a, like, bad day, things
Mm.
just start happening, and start happening. But that's the in but like, that's the energy that you put out there. So always keep your energy high, always keep your vibrations and your frequency high. Be because that is when you manifest the most. like
Mm.
you can't manifest when your frequency is low. So
Right. You just preached about like what I really stand for. I mean, just protecting your energy and
right,
I have conversations with people and I tell them, hey, you got to be careful what you're listening to, what you're looking
exactly,
at, what you're saying, what you're digesting, even what you're eating.
absolutely,
I truly believe everything that you consume has to do what you put out into the world.
right,
So if you're consuming BS and junk and all types of craziness,
right,
that's what you're gonna put out into the world. If you're consuming a lot of drama and negativity, that's what you're gonna put out.
absolutely,
But if you're someone like yourself that's surrounding yourself with billionaires and practicing, positive, like having a positive mindset, that's what you're gonna put out into the world. So,
right.
yeah, I mean, I believe that 100%, and I love that you broke it down like that, and you got kind of scientific with it, with the Albert Einstein. I love it. Yeah, like I said, we can start wrapping this thing up. One thing that I always have my guests do for the audience is leaves them one last gem, one last piece of advice. It could be business related, entrepreneur, whatever it can be. You
Yeah,
whatever you want to let the people know about, and we can end it on that note.
yeah. The biggest thing that I can say is that the investment you put out is the investment you get back.
Hmm.
And that translate in all areas of life. If you invest um, um, in yourself to become a great person, then by default, great people will be attracted to you,
Hmm.
and give you that back. And then
Hmm.
with business too, if you only want to put out like um uh, uh like $20, then
Hmm.
don't expect a large
Hmm.
ROI. So
Right.
so um so so uh, um so so every investment that you put out is the exact is the exact investment that you get.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. Boom. I love that. Where can people reach out to you? Where can people get in contact with you if they're interested in your services and what you do?
Yeah, so just go to conveyorly.com if you're a business that is trying to get leads. And then
Hmm.
if you want just your Instagram and your Facebook done, just go to MOGULMKTG.com. And then you can follow me on Instagram at TheKrisHolt,
Hmm.
at the Kris Holt, and then I will get back to you then.
Absolutely. And I'll leave all the information in the description of this podcast. With that being said, I truly appreciate your time. I truly appreciate you coming on here and being transparent and
Thanks.
just giving value back to the audience. You guys heard the podcast; it was very valuable. So if you can do us a huge favor and recommend this podcast to one other person out there that needs to hear this, um, do them a favor and do us a favor as well. And with that being said, it's your boy Kris. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Thanks.